I bump buttons on this camera so often that I have no idea the settings get changed. Oh, I'm sorry. I have backhoe work to do, but after this little tire incident, I don't want to use it until after the shipping container situation is dealt with. Because if I do something stupid or there's a problem and then I don't have a backhoe and the shipping container guy's here, then I'm tired of being effed on this project. It's kicking my balls. And now I bought that macerating pump and it's leaking now already. And it started leaking. Man, that thing was taking so long. I'm like, well, maybe I just need to flush it a little bit. So I turned on the pump pressure, unlimited. Normally I have the pressure regulated coming out into the trailer at 45 PSI. But that hose was not limited. I might have blown out the frickin' something. But it leaks now, and that's totally not usable as a system. I pumped out the gray water tank. It was just slowly getting, it was, kind of running out. It was probably like, my smoothies and hair get clogged in there. So I pumped that out, and that whole process, it was dripping. I had a 5-gallon bucket underneath it. I had to dig out all the dirt so it wouldn't start to stink right there. Because gray water will stink if you just don't cover it up or something. Yeah, if I blew the pump out or... shouldn't be able to blow it out though. I mean, it's turning a hose on it. It's a pump. It's pressurizing, but I don't know how much pressure that pump that I have on there. But it's over a long distance too. A really long distance. And with like soft hoses. So I don't know if pressure can remain that constant. And it was that. But that was the moment that the thing started leaking on the first pump out. When I just went back and used it again, then it leaked the whole time. Lame. Today is not touching the backhoe except for going and greasing it. I'm gonna go try to find a bunch of the grease ports, wipe them off. I'm dealing with the work stuff, and I'm not a very early morning person, and I'm starting to wonder if farming is even how much of a detriment my love of sleeping in is gonna affect my farming. I don't know. I mean, basically the whole farming of this is regenerating this the ground back into grass, and then planting rows of trees, and then having cows and chickens. So yeah, I think the cows and the chickens needing early morning stuff. But I might be able to get some peeps that would be people, helpers, maybe even girlfriend that likes to get up early and deal with chickens and cows. Forgot about the adoption thing. I was gonna adopt some kids to do all that work. Yeah, right. I also gotta run that wire better, more tight, run it all up in there nice. But if the pump's broken, then I have to go with that system. I really don't have an option. My sewage treatment plant has to be lower than everything. So if I wanted to kind of dig in my structures down into the ground a little bit, okay, so you're down in the ground, and then the plumbing has to go down from there, and then it has to go down all the way to the sewage treatment plant. And mind you, this is pretty flat property-ish. It's like a little hilly, not hilly. It's just not perfectly flat, but it's pretty damn flat. I could seriously screw up by not putting that thing deep enough. If the first thing I put in is the sewage treatment plant, and then I put in the line to the sewage treatment plant, and it turns out that line then, kind of like when I was doing the shipping containers, right? So I had the 0.79 was 0.79. It was supposed to be of a foot, but I was doing it of an inch. That was about 9 inches off. And those shipping containers were way over here and way over there, and nothing was square, and everything was a mess. That's all fine and good when you're playing around putting stuff and measuring stuff, but if I dig this hole for this sewage treatment plant and I don't put it deep enough, I'm screwed. I'm gonna have to do I would have to do some kind of pumping. Pumping of raw sewage is not a good thing. That's expensive, the pump and all and just more shit that can break and more power when it will just flow all by itself downhill at a 4% grade if you install everything correctly. I've been, thinking about things like, the ground is super freaking hard, and maybe I only can go, this deep, and then what I'll do is I'll just, bury it, because I'm thinking about the fact that I need to keep it from freezing. This whole consideration of it being deep enough has just basically occurred to me. And again, with everything, it's going to be better to just over-engineer it, basically, i.e. go way deeper. But the dirt and the bedrock, maybe, just digging that deep might just be, the death of the backhoe, or it just, might not be possible, and the fact that I want this system to service more than one location. So I want one septic system that services the barn. So the barn will have at least bathrooms and a shower, potentially, bathrooms, just figure bathrooms and a shower, right? So that's over on one side. And then the housing, the house thing, right? So initially I'm like, build one structure. It's going to be like the main structure, and that's going to have like the kitchen, bathrooms, shower. I'm thinking then the loft will be my office area potentially, but like getting all, like, I like my office to have like my hobbies, my office, like all my desk type stuff, which I have 3 desks all in one area. And if I have to put all that up into a loft, that's going to be a super pain in the butt. So that's probably a bad idea. Main structure, plumbing off that main structure will then go, but then I plan on building each bedroom and probably an office / something. Initially the first structure, I will live in it, it'll be everything. But the plan isn't to live in it. The plan is to have it be just like the central great room, kitchen, all this. Then each individual other building is not going to be added on, but it's going to be separate with little paths going between them. And they'll all be orientated correctly towards the sun. For instance, I'm thinking about like my bedroom, for instance. I don't want to be, woken up in the morning by the light, so I can put my bedroom behind in the respect of where the sun goes. Put my room behind, like, so the sun comes up over here, the sun comes up over here in the east, and here's the main structure, and then like here's my bedroom. So the morning sun will not bother me. But I'll have nice, I might not even have any windows in my bedroom. I think you have to legally have one, but then you can block it back out. But yeah, my bedroom, like literally all I do in there is sleep. So that, there's going to be like a room with a bed in it, and then there'll be my shower and my bathroom, and that will be my room. I think it's okayed for a 4-bedroom house. So I would have like 4 of those, but then I'd also have like an office building. All those buildings, everything I'm building is going to have a bathroom in it. That's just modern building, right? Like, I'm trying to build this out like I'm not off grid. There is totally a way to do stuff that you won't even really realize that you're off grid. You have all the water you want, you have all the power you want, you can use all the facilities like you want, then you're not off grid. Your relaxing time is increased. And if all those systems just can run and maintain themselves, quality of life increases. The desire to put the sewage treatment plant and just have one might be the downfall, because the farther away from stuff it is, the farther down in the ground that it has to be. If the sewage treatment plant is, I don't even know the math, at 4%. I mean, I suck at percent. I don't even know them at all. A 4% drop is pretty decent. So you think like, I mean, I could probably look it up. There's probably like, it goes down like X amount of inches per foot. I bet you I can look that up right now. Well, I was going to use a huge sewer pipe because of all these different places feeding into one pipe, and then that one pipe going off to the sewage treatment plant was the plan. And all I can pretty much find information for is for a 4-inch pipe. And a 4-inch pipe drops between an 1/8 inch and a 1/4 inch per foot if I have my sewage treatment plant 40 feet away, which I guess I could do a hub, so plant a real deep pipe, run that real deep, and then I could put all the house, all the little bathrooms and the pods would run to that and then run off. Okay, so that's how it'll work. So that first main one will probably be all the way from the main house, and then the rest of them will just tap into that somehow. I don't know, I'll just build for it. But that's that main pipe. If the rest of the houses were then all within 40 feet of that pipe, see, this is where the problem comes, because then there's a big, huge drop in that pipe at some point to get it low enough to mesh with all these other ones. Where that one, if it was just on its course, then these other ones have to pour into it. And I definitely don't want to run a whole sewer line for every single one. I definitely want to just dump them into one sewer line and then run them over there. So we're talking about on just the main one, not even talking about the drop that we need to get it low enough for the other buildings to be able to use that same sewer line. That means in 40 feet, it's about a 3.5 foot drop. So that's 3.5 feet from the bottom of the sewage system in the place to the top of the sewage treatment plant. I don't know. I might have to look around the land a little bit, try to find I don't know, because we're talking, that's a pretty deep situation. I mean, then if I was to bury that pipe even deeper so those other pipes can drop appropriately into it, that's going to put it even deeper. And you figure all those other places, if we just use that same 40 feet, that would mean I would have to have that 7 feet to the top, 7 feet down. That's huge down. And that then increases the slopes of all those other pipes in that first place, trying to drain into that sewer pipe. Yeah, this is extremely complicated. Extremely complicated. Like most people, they would just put one house, maybe 2 bathrooms, and the kitchen, and it would go into their septic system, and their septic system's just, underground, and it just does its thing. But that's not really the way I want to do things, right? Septic system's kind of gross. Bathrooms are freaking awesome. If everybody in the world had their own bathroom, this would be a wonderful world. Not that it couldn't be a wonderful world without that many bathrooms, just saying, right? I literally can't just be like, oh, I want to plop this in and I want to plop that in. I mean, the first one that I put in, I got to put it all in right with all those other things in mind. So I can utilize that pipe that goes from the main structure to the sewage treatment plant to utilize that. If I mess it up, then I would have to run a sewage line from each place. And that's just crazy. Plumbing is not my strong suit. I'm better at electrical, and this is a lot of plumbing. So yeah, off to work.